It's funny how life unravels when you least expect it. One minute you're sitting in a classroom, bored out of your mind, and the next you're staring straight into the eyes of the man who will ruin you and somehow save you all at once. If someone had told me 6 months ago that I'd be in love with my professor, I would have laughed. Actually, I would have reported them to the dean for sexual misconduct. Because that's what they drill into us. Professors are off-limits. Untouchable. Sacred. But rules never mattered much when it came to him. His name is Ethan Blake. 35 years old. Married at least on paper. A tenured professor in American literature with a voice that could make you believe in poetry and a presence that turns silence into confession. He wasn't the kind of man you ignored. Not even if you tried. And trust me, I tried. I tried when I first saw him on the first day of class. His sleeves rolled up as he scribbled quotes from Whitman across the board. His watch glinting in the sunlight. I tried when he called on me and his eyes lingered on my lips just a fraction too long. And I tried every time his hand brushed mine when he handed back my essays. Our fingers grazing like a secret neither of us dared to speak. But the heart is reckless. And mine was already plotting treason. It started small late-night emails about assignments that turned into discussions about books that turned into confessions about life. I told him things I'd never told anyone. Things that made me feel naked even through the screen. And then came the day he asked me to stay after class. "Lucas," he said, my name falling from his lips like sin. "We need to talk." God, I can still hear it. That low, deliberate tone. Like he already knew I'd obey. The room emptied. My pulse didn't. I sat there, waiting, wondering if this was the moment my life would split in two. And it did. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said. No hesitation. No excuse. Just the truth. Raw and dangerous. My throat went dry. My brain screamed to run, to laugh, to do anything but feel the heat crawling up my neck. But I didn't move. Because the truth was, I couldn't stop thinking about him either. What followed wasn't a kiss not yet. It was worse. It was silence. A silence so heavy it pressed against my chest and left me gasping for air. A silence that said everything words couldn't. When he finally stepped back, his jaw tight, his hands clenched, I thought that was it. We'd bury this thing before it consumed us. But love, or whatever this was, doesn't care about reason. It thrives in the spaces where it shouldn't exist. The first time he kissed me, it was raining. Because of course it was raining. He walked me to my car after a late lecture. His jacket over my shoulders. His hand brushing mine like an accident. We stood there, soaked and shivering. And then his lips were on mine, soft at first. Then hungry. Then everything I'd ever wanted but never dared to want. And that was the beginning of the end. Because once you taste something forbidden, you can never go back. I didn't plan for this. I didn't plan for love to feel like a loaded gun pressed against my ribs. I didn't plan to wake up in his bed on Saturday mornings, tangled in sheets that smelled like him, like coffee and cedarwood and something achingly tender. I didn't plan to hear him whisper, "You're mine," against my skin like a prayer he didn't believe in. And I sure as hell didn't plan for the secret growing inside me now, the one that will burn everything to the ground when it comes out. Yeah. You read that right. I'm pregnant. Don't ask me how that's possible. Don't ask me what it means. Just know that it's real. That it's his. That it changes everything. Because now, it's not just my heart on the line. It's a life. And if the world finds out, we both lose everything. The night I found out, I sat on the cold tile of my bathroom floor, staring at two pink lines that mocked me from the plastic stick. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. My heart wouldn't stop screaming his name. Ethan. What the hell was I supposed to do? The clinic confirmed it the next day. And before you ask, no, it's not some freak accident or miracle science project. I've always known my body wasn't like most men. My doctor called it a rare congenital condition. But what it really means is that this was possible. And now it was real. I wanted to tell him. God. I wanted to tell him so badly. But when I saw him in class that Monday, standing there like a storm dressed in pressed linen, everything inside me locked up. Because this wasn't just about us anymore. This was about futures, reputations, lives. And I wasn't ready to destroy his. Weeks passed. I hid it well, baggy hoodies, skipped meals, excuses about being tired. He noticed. Of course. Ethan noticed everything. One night, after everyone left, he cornered me in the empty lecture hall, his voice low and frayed at the edges. What's going on with you? Lucas. You've been distant. I swallowed hard. I'm fine. You're lying. His jaw tightened. Talk to me. I wanted to. I really did. But fear has a way of chaining your tongue. So I said nothing. I let him walk away, anger shadowing his face. And I hated myself for it. The secret got heavier. My body changed. The walls closed in. And then came the day it all shattered. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was on my way to class when a wave of nausea hit me so hard I barely made it to the nearest restroom. By the time I stumbled back into the hallway, pale and clammy, Ethan was there waiting. Lucas, his hand gripped my arm. You look like hell. I'm fine. I lied again. But then his eyes dropped to my midsection where the fabric of my hoodie stretched just a little too much. And I knew. In that instant, the game was over. Jesus Christ. He whispered. Tell me that's not what I think it is. My silence was his answer. His face went through 1,000 emotions in a second shock. Disbelief. Fear. Something that looked a lot like love. Then he dragged me into his office and shut the door like the world was hunting us. How long? His voice was sharp, almost breaking. 8 weeks, I said, barely audible. 8, he pressed a hand to his forehead, pacing like a man on the edge. Lucas, do you have any idea? Yes. My voice cracked. I know what this means. Okay. I know this could ruin you. Ruin both of us. He stopped then, breathing hard, eyes burning into mine. Do you want it? The question sliced through me. Did I want this impossible, terrifying, beautiful thing? Yes, I whispered. And it was the truest thing I'd ever said. His shoulders sagged, like he'd been holding up the sky and finally let it crush him. Then he crossed the room and pulled me into his arms so tightly I thought I'd break. Then we'll figure this out. He murmured into my hair. I'm not letting you do this alone. But the universe wasn't done with us. Rumors started. Someone saw us together too close. Too late at night. Anonymous emails hit the dean's inbox. Ethan was called in for questioning. And just like that, the life he'd built began to crack. He came to me that night, eyes hollow, voice raw. They're investigating me, he said. If they find out about this about you, my chest ached. I'll take the blame. The hell you will. His hands gripped my face. Desperate. Lucas, listen to me. I don't care about this job. I don't care about the whispers. All I care about is you. And that baby. Tears blurred my vision. You'll lose everything. I already have everything I need. His voice broke. You. And then he kissed me like the world was ending because maybe, in a way, it was. The hearing was brutal. They didn't have proof of the relationship. Just suspicions. Ethan resigned before they could fire him, walking out of that room with his head high and his hand in mine. People talked. They still do. But whispers can't touch us now. We left the city a week later, trading lecture halls for quiet streets and autumn leaves. We rented a small house with creaky floors and sunlight that spills across the kitchen table in the mornings. Sometimes I catch him staring at me when he thinks I'm not looking, his eyes soft. His lips curved in that rare, unguarded smile. And in those moments, I know this wasn't a mistake. It was chaos. It was wrong by every rule written. But it was also love, the kind that sets fire to the map and dares you to keep walking. The day our son is born, Ethan cries. Not the restrained tears of a man who's learned to keep his feelings buried, but real, guttural sobs that shake his body as he holds that tiny life in his arms. He looks at me like I've given him the universe. And maybe I have. I love you, he says, voice breaking. God, Lucas, I love you. And for the first time in months, I let myself believe that everything, the fear, the lies, the losses, was worth it. Because against all odds, we made it here. And for the first time, I'm not scared anymore. Because love, real love, doesn't care about the rules. It rewrites them. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.